Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? I can see there's a ton of people here. I got 108 people. I've been logged in trying to get the live chat to load. Unfortunately, not a single comment will load. Oh, there we go. All right. We got a full house here today. I would like to say ahead of time that we're going to have to do the giveaways a little bit differently, unless Heather is here from Sage and Stone and she can help me do the giveaways. We'll still be doing the giveaways. We'll just be doing a little bit more customized because I have been attempting for the last more than 2 hours to try and get the random comment picker to work, and unfortunately, all of my efforts have been in vain because I still cannot get it to load the comments. So we'll still be giveaways. We'll just be doing it a little bit modified. All right, so we got Peggy, hello, and Diane, and Helena, and Cedar Cast Garden, Tater. Let's see, has anyone tried the coffee kombucha yet? I have tried it. It is absolutely divinely delicious, but it is very prone to molding, so it's kind of a difficult one in my experience. So, but it's worth the effort. It's delicious. Fermented mustard, awesome, Diane. Sure, my wife wants to, but I'm not a kombucha fan. It tastes completely different than kombucha because it's made with coffee instead of tea, and it does not have anywhere near the acidic bite that kombucha has. It's a very I don't know what you would call it. It's a pretty smooth flavor, and it's fermented for much less time typically than kombucha, so it doesn't develop the acidity that regular kombucha does. Be careful planting mustard that you allow it to go to seed; it will readily reseed. Good tip. Carrot kraut Friday, and we'll be making ketchup tomorrow. Oh, I love to hear about you guys doing all these recipes. Grew some mustard seed this year because the neighbor told me she loves mustard greens. Then she changed it and said collard greens when I tried to give her some. It's definitely a bit of a different flavor. Not tried fermenting mustard yet, but it's on my list. Mine too. That definitely tasted, that looked like a super tasty recipe. Really enjoying Fermented February. So many recipes. I agree. I made coffee kombucha last summer. Loved it. Coffee doesn't like me, and I was hoping fermenting it would help. Oh, it didn't. I'm sorry. Have some heartburn issues. Was wondering if that's a way of making the coffee would help. I hear that making it. I have never tried it, but making cold brew coffee it kind of cuts the acidity to it as well. Coffee's ready. I got my coffee. Yeah. Been wanting to try that mushroom coffee, but I haven't been gutsy enough to try it. Good luck to you. I have no desire to try it at all. I just love coffee so much. I just can't. I love everything about it. Black with cream I don't like it with sugar, but I like it with like stevia sweeteners. Those are delicious. I love them. But I usually just drink it half black. I'll usually drink like 3/4 of a pot black, and then once I break my fast, then I'll add a little bit of cream to it. But not really. I just like it. And it doesn't even have to be fresh. I'll drink it. Like this pot was brewed more than 12 hours ago, and it's just been reheating all day. If you're fermenting strong flavored greens and they're a bit much for your taste, they dehydrate and grind into a fermented powder. Interesting. Good to know. Trying to not let myself get too far behind. Heather, you are here, girl. You're gonna bail me out today. I still cannot get I cannot get the random comment picker to work. I've tried everything. I tried rebooting my computer, my phone. I tried rebooting my router, everything I could possibly think of. I cannot get the random comment picker to actually load the comments still. I've been at it for like 2 hours. It is so frustrating. Members let me know about the live again. Awesome. Oh, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. You're definitely going to be a big old lifesaver today. I was planning on just flipping through the comments and just pick That was my plan. I've been trying so hard, and I knew that, so I was like, I'm totally going to be prepared this time. I'm going to do what I got to do, log in super early, make sure everything's working, and then here we are again. Hopefully it works on your end. I don't know what's going on with it. I tried rebooting everything. Nothing will get this thing to run, but such is life, I suppose. Old school comment picker, the scroll and poke works when you need. That's what I figured. It was my good old standby. It was my backup plan. Renee, you're here too. How are you doing? My daughter wants me to make the sriracha. It is so good. Oh my gosh. Oh, and y'all, I don't know if you know, but like, so I did the sriracha, and then my sister Tiffany, who is not going to be with us today, she is in her last couple of hours with my son. My son went to visit, and it's his last day in Hawaii, so they are spending the day together. So she let me know a few minutes ago she wasn't going to be logging in. So she won't be here today, but she did send me the hot sauce that she made in her Fermented February. And Robert and I did a taste test the other day, and it's going to be out in tomorrow's video. So anybody wondering if Tiffany's a wuss or not, stay tuned till tomorrow. You will have your answer. Did you try her hot sauce? Yes, I did on camera. Robert did too. Coffee, coffee, coffee. Exactly, Jen. That does sound good with the maple apple kraut. Maple apple kraut. Becoming a farm girl video had those cool sprout trade things. I know. I didn't even know those existed. It almost makes me want to sprout things just so that I have an excuse to buy those cool looking trays. Those things looked awesome. And about the question from further up, there was a question regarding fermenting, making alcohol, and sobriety concerns. What was the question more specifically? Because I did not see the question. I once I get to a certain point, it just zooms me down to the bottom, and it's kind of hard to keep up with the chat at some point, at some time. So I scrolled down to the bottom. I'm trying to keep up that way. Finally got some dried beans to try fermenting like you did last year. I've been allergic to one protein of the legumes when they are old or dried. Fingers crossed. I'm crossing them for you. Waiting on the hot sauce you guys tried. Yes. Started watching you because becoming a farm girl suggests I watch your channel. I'm going to make some of your hot sauces as soon as the pepper comes. I love her. Yeah. We got a pretty freaking awesome lineup. Well, I mean, we do every year, but you know, it's this year, so I'm excited about this year because it's right now and it's happening right now. So I'm super stoked about everybody's videos that are coming up. Well, that have already happened and that are coming up. Tons of inspiration and information. Exactly. Apple maple kraut. That sounds divine. I gotta go get those sprout trees. My jars always get slimy. Yeah, I don't sprout, so I would have to start sprouting to be able to justify getting those, but they look really cool. Can't wait to see your video to see how your sister's hot sauce is. Yep. I've discovered that a tiny amount, 2 to 5 grams of xanthan gum in a quart of milk kefir can be used to make smoothies or a creamy salad dressing from the kefir. Might that affect the probiotic? I don't know about that. I have not done research in regards to that as far as like the composition of xanthan gum. The only thing that I know about it is that you typically used as a thickener or a binder in gluten-free cooking. So I wouldn't first guess, and I want to make sure I'm clarifying. First guess is that it would not kill the probiotics, but I'm kind of confused why you would want to use it because kefir is typically pretty thick in its own regard. So I'd be curious as to the reason for using it. I guess. So many recipes this time. I have a whole list I want to try. Yep. Good evening. Been a long time since I caught a live. It has been a long time since I've seen you, Michigan Daffodil. Believe you can buy a tool to check alcohol content if that's an issue for you. Yes, you absolutely can. I believe it's called a hydrometer. We have one. She was a riot when she made hot sauce. I know. It was one of my favorite of her taste tests. That's one thing. It's like she's very just real and like down to earth with her taste tests. Not that other people are not, but it's like it's very I don't even know. It's hilarious sometimes. If I'm not crazy about the idea of sprouts, I really want to try microgreens. Microgreens do look interesting. I hear that microgreens are much less likely to have like the food poisoning kind of diseases that can come with sprouts. I just learned that the other day. Just got started. Milk kefir is being enjoyed, and kombucha and water kefir will be ready to taste tomorrow. Love it. I just had some milk kefir today. Well, most days. I have to rewatch. I missed the answer to sobriety. I didn't see that. I don't know what the question was, so I need somebody to repeat the question, and I'd be happy to answer whatever I can about it. I think I've been successful in getting sourdough starter going from scratch. Love it. I've heard of people having issues with kefir thickening up. Try a second ferment after the grains are strained. Yeah, that usually does help it to solidify. Let's see. Animated. What's animated? Oh, yeah, animated. That would be a good way to put her taste test sometimes. Try some heavy cream in making your kefir. I've been doing it lately and it's coming out much thicker. Good to know. I use a hydrometer for our maple syrup. Expressive and visceral. I don't know the true meaning of visceral. I have kind of a vague understanding of it, but it might work. I don't know. Microgreens are fun too. They're from Texas. Love your Rasta doll. Oh yeah. My son actually gave that to me a very long time ago, and along his chest he wrote, "I love you." That was when he was little. So he's not going anywhere. He used to be very obsessed with the claw machines when he was younger, and he was obsessed with those things. So that I'm assuming that was something that he won out of the claw machines. Whether as me wanting to plant my garden, me too. Me too, but we had snow today, and thankfully I looked at the forecast and saw that it was supposed to freeze last night. So I pulled all the broccoli and everything that I had put out there, and I'm just gonna leave it in here for a couple of days. Made sourdough bread today, but it was a flop. Oh, it didn't rise and baked in, so we'll try again tomorrow. How far along is your sourdough starter? Sometimes they're not ready. Like you have to kind of get them really strong and kind of nurture the starter for a month or two before sometimes they will produce like a nice fluffy loaf. Scoby arrived today and I got it started. Love it. Water kefir grains in the mail. Can't wait to get it started. Lacto intolerant, so it is water kefir for me. You'd be surprised how many people can consume milk kefir because the lactose in the milk is the fuel for the grains. Most people who are lactose intolerant can consume properly fermented, home fermented milk kefir. That does not necessarily apply to the store-bought stuff because that is a whole different thing. But oftentimes people can. I'm lactose intolerant, not to a major degree, but definitely to an uncomfortable degree. So I don't really tend to consume milk really at all very much. I can tolerate raw milk and fermented milk, but it might be something you want to give a try if it's not a severe reaction. Kefir soda, is that made with water kefir grains? Yes, it is. How are the piglets? They're doing good. They're just growing. Haven't had any more deaths. We still have 10 little piglets. They are going to be in tomorrow's video. Make my kefir soda with kefir milk whey. Interesting. Yes. I didn't even think about that, but there is definitely 2 ways to make kefir soda. I've been making yogurt and water kefir for a year now. Love it. Oh, love it, love it, love it. Made sourdough English muffins. I haven't tried those yet. I really want to. Don't throw the flop out. Just break off some and dip in pasta sauce. Oh, that's for somebody else. My sourdough starter is almost 2 years old. I still get a flop every now and then. Very true. It can happen. I need to find a starter video for sourdough newbies. Heather from the Kneady Homestead. She has several series on very detailed, like she brings you along every day for several rounds of starting her sourdough starter, like very super beginner friendly. So definitely check out the Kneady Homesteader. She would be somebody definitely very knowledgeable on starting sourdough starters, and she has several of them. So I would highly encourage you to check her out. Good to know about the milk kefir using up the lactose. I'm lactose intolerant. I may have to try it. If it's not a severe reaction, I definitely encourage you. Constance, I'm so glad to see you here today. How are you doing? When I looked up, there is about 1% alcohol in kombucha. That's pretty typical. But I do know, if it's a sobriety issue and something you fear would um, cause you to go off the wagon, I would say don't. But if uh, I've known several people who've been alcoholics and they don't have any issue whatsoever with kombucha. Um, it does not. I've even seen people who have drank upwards of like a gallon of kombucha just to kind of prove a point, and they've taken a breathalyzer and had no. They didn't blow anything. So it's kind of, you know, it's all to your comfort level. But yes, it does contain alcohol. Is a question: does fermentation cause alcohol? A person does not want to make a boo boo. Yeah, I mean, if it's it is there. It does exist. Not really. I guess all forms of fermentation to some degree can have a very minor, like minuscule amount of it. But I would say Jun. You would want to stay away from Jun. Jun. Kombucha does have some to some degree. It just depends on how long you ferment it. You can control it. The alcohol is formed in the second fermentation. So if you want to have it, just either avoid the second fermentation or do a very short second fermentation. Once you seal off the air oxygen, that's what causes the vinegar to turn to alcohol. And even that is like almost minuscule. It's almost nothing. I do a second fermentation for months, and I don't have an issue with it at all. So kind of something you have to think about. Your sister had a video today making sourdough bread. It looked fantastic. I know. I haven't been on YouTube most of the day. And then right when I was trying to find, I loaded it when I was loading up my YouTube to try and find a video to copy over. And I saw her thing. I was like, oh, I wish I had time to watch it. So that is my plan for after this. I'm going to be watching it. Been binge watching your videos. Oh, thank you. I'm mostly carnivorous because I can't eat veggies. I found your channel thanks to Stage and Stone, learning a ton on homesteading from her. Oh my gosh. Yeah. She is like, I wish I had her level of knowledge and even half of the stuff that she does. Oh my goodness. Oh, it just zoomed me down to the bottom. I'm sorry. I've heard of alcoholics being able to stop thanks to the taste of kombucha. Yes, I have known several people who have the kombucha has enabled them to stop because they still kind of get a little bit of the taste. It doesn't even taste like alcohol. So I think it's like the bubbliness of it and it's like the bitterness of it. Something about it just kind of helps people. And I think it's also the bacteria in it also kind of helps with that. Check that out. I'm subscribed to her. I'll go check it out. Awesome. Starting my Guinness mustard ferment on Saturday. Love it. Researching kombucha and want to learn so badly. Me, yeah, it's a good thing to learn. My husband thought I was drinking wine one day when he smelled my kombucha cup. It definitely can be. Tiffany has gorgeous sourdough today. Oh, just looking at the thumbnail, I was just like, oh, I want that in my life. How many days on average is a short second fermentation? Like 2 days, 3 days. But just bear in mind that the shorter the fermentation, the more the sugar will remain. So you kind of just have to play with that. How many days on average? Oh, read that one. I like the idea of using a heated mat for the garden in doing fermenting. It's helpful. It is very helpful. I can't wait to make that mustard. Definitely. Please tell me how to find the video of the day for Fermented February. That is just go to my channel, click on playlists and go to Fermented February. Just bookmark the playlist. And as soon as I wake up in the morning, I search for the video. The last couple days I've been waking up late, so it hasn't been going on the playlist until like 9 o'clock because I just turn off my alarm apparently for the last couple of days. But as soon as I get up, I search for it. And then if it's not live, then as soon as I find it later throughout the day when it's posted, I post it. Another ad. Yeah, it's stopped asking me. I don't have any control of the ads, so don't feel any need whatsoever to sit through it. Just after 5 seconds, hit skip. There's nothing I can do about it. I have no control over it. It used to ask me in the bottom corner, ads will begin shortly, and I can hit skip, and it won't let me do that anymore. So they have changed something. Forgot to make mine live until later this morning. It was there when I looked for it, so you're good. See, I don't have any like animals that like require anything at a certain time, and that's partially by design right now. So I when I wake up, I just drink a cup of coffee and I go outside and do my chores. So I don't have like milking animals that I have to go outside so that the mom and babies can be rejoined. So I sleep in every once in a while, which is life. And I hate that I sleep in too, because then it means that the next day, because I have really bad insomnia and I have to function on a level of sleep deprivation or I will not sleep for hours. Like the other night when I like 2 days ago, I slept in and then the next night it took me like 4 hours to fall asleep. Like I have to function on 6 to 7 hours max. If I ever go over 7 hours max, like I'm wired and I cannot sleep. I cannot sleep. It will take me hours upon hours upon hours. And I can wake up with 5 hours of sleep and be just fine, ready to go for the day. But yeah, that friend who feels worse for sleeping 8 hours. So sometimes I do. Like I don't intend to. Like I have to wake up. If I sleep until I wake up, it be days before I can fall asleep in a reasonable amount of time. It sucks. But I just need to remember that in the morning. If I want to go to sleep the next night, I need to wake up now. Now. Is 68 degrees warm enough for fermenting sourdough? Yep. Um, fermenting, absolutely. I would say that is an ideal temperature for vegetable fermentation. Sourdough, you're iffy. I'd put it next to the coffee pot, not right next to it, but like I got an area in my kitchen. I was doing kombucha there. This last time I turned over my kombucha, I decided to just get rid of the big thing that I had and I just put it with the rest of the kombucha. And so I could keep my sourdough starter there because it's a nice corner. It's like right on top of the dishwasher. The coffee pot's kind of going all day long. So it's a nice toasty corner for it. Just find a warm place on top of your fridge. If you have a heat source kind of sort of nearish, the heat source, if you have like a vent or something. I have one up here like that, like just try and make sure it's kind of sort of near it. You don't want it close to where it overheats, but find a warm area. I literally, when I move to a new place, I will grab a thermometer and I will just wander around my house, find the hot points and the cold points. And that's where I know where each of my ferments are supposed to go. So anyways, okay. We are really twins. I do my best on deprivation too. I know, right, Anna? There are nights I sleep 20 hours. Oh, 10 hours. My sister's like that. Like she can just sleep and sleep and sleep and sleep. I've always been jealous of how well she can sleep. She's just like, boom, falls asleep. My brain just doesn't turn off. I have to take L-theanine, valerian, like high doses of valerian root and high doses of magnesium. And that will work if I'm sleep deprived. It won't work if I'm not, though. We use a hydrometer in beer and winemaking. That will give you the best specific gravity level. Perhaps there is something like that to measure for fermented foods to see if the specific gravity changes. It's the same principle. I mean, if you are testing for the alcohol in the ferments, if you're wanting to test the alcohol in a finished ferment, though, you need to take the lid off and stick it in the fridge so it will not continue to ferment. But it can off gas the bubbles. And then after a day or two, then you want to check it. That's what I do. Because otherwise the bubbles in the ferment will cause it to give you an inaccurate reading because the bubbles will obviously attach to the hydrometer and cause it to rise. Sometimes I wake up and the brain turns on and that's it. I'm awake. Yep. Well, sometimes. That's not usually my problem. Once I'm asleep, I'm asleep unless, if something wakes me up, I'm usually pretty easy to fall back asleep. It's just the initial falling asleep. But my husband is like that. Like he can fall asleep very easily, but then it's like, it's, you make a slightest like pin drop and he's awake. But I guess that's good though. You gotta wake up and defend the family. You never know. And the slightest little something will wake him up. It's annoying sometimes, but because it's like I'm trying to be out here and like exist, and then I can't. So, but it's a good trade off though, because I know that if anything happens in the middle of the night, he's just instantly going to be awake. Sometimes I wake up in the brain. Oh, I read that one. Let's make a new series. Will it booch? That would be interesting. It'd be a pretty short series though, I think. So I think we are ready. Heather, are you ready to do a giveaway with me? Are you ready? So we need let's see, the first number on my screen between 5 and 11. Which one's going to pop up on my screen? No, between 5 and 11. 7. 7 is the number. So who is number 7? Number 7 is, that's the wrong year. Here we go. 7 is the Happy Homestead. I believe that was the mustard recipe. So Heather, if you wouldn't mind doing me the honors as soon as you're able to load those comments up and find us a good old winner to see who the winner of Artisan Sourdough Made Simple. This is one of my favorite ones. I tend to go through recipes like this one, or in this book, more than other books. Although there are a lot of good books, but this one I like is a fantastic book. I don't know, you guys are gonna love it. So we're doing a little bit of tag teaming here because I cannot get the random comment generator to load on my computer, my phone, or anything, given all of the steps that I attempted to do, but it will apparently load on Heather's, and it is Mary-WH90Q is the winner. If Mary is in here, let us know. If not, I will attempt to send her a message and get the winners. But if you are in here and you're watching this, send me an email, fermentedhomestead@gmail.com, and with your mailing address. I think my husband won't mind if I snatch a bottle of his Guinness to make this. I don't think he'll mind. I'm trying to keep an eye on to see if Mary's in here. That's the comment. That's a good comment. You can put quotation marks around it too. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, Mary. I hope you are able to see this one. If not, then I'll find the comment and send a little note to you. But in case you're watching this live, hopefully, yes, you were the winner. Yay! I'm so excited. So give it a few more minutes and we'll do the next giveaway of the t-shirt. I'm not wearing it today, but lots of different options out there. What was the book? It was Artisan Sourdough Made Simple. All right. Winner, fermented dinner. Yep. Oh, I should turn off my ringer. I didn't even realize it was still on. Should children drink kombucha? At what age would you start them off? I don't see a reason why not. I would make sure it's not done for a terribly long second fermentation. There you go. Her kids drink them, and they're not super old at all. Varied ages, but yeah, I don't see any reason. I mean, kids need a good gut microbiome just the same as everybody else does. I think there's just a lot of fear mongering when it comes to fermented foods and drinks and all sorts of things. I was not into fermentation when my son was little, so I wasn't able to do that for my own son. But if I had a child later in life, then I absolutely would have no issue giving it to them. I mean, I'm not going to give them like a quart of it, but just having a reasonable size fizzy drink, I see nothing wrong with it. And I don't know of anybody who would. Youngest is 6, but my very young niece and nephews drink it too. There you go. Nothing wrong with it at all. Hello, Growing with Hudson. Alruderai yogurt, chicory, inulin, doing great for the months. Ran out of chicory, inulin, got Jerusalem artichoke, inulin yogurt, separates tart, yeasty. Ordered chicory. Ordered chicory. Do I have to start over with the tablets? If you don't have the tablets, I would say try it. It's better than having to buy them because it probably would work. I don't see why it wouldn't. I I've been doing it too, and I have noticed it, like everybody promises that it stops separating once you start once you experience that. Every single one separates like crazy. Like this last one is like liquid. I mean, it's very thick, dense chunks, but once I mix it up, it almost becomes like a liquid, like thick, soupy chunkiness. It's weird. So maybe I need to check my inulin because I just bought something that says inulin. um, there who are? Oh, am I getting sorry, I got rural internet, so it sucks. I apologize. Yeah, my internet's just awful and atrocious. Hopefully you guys can see me now. Threw me back a few minutes. You froze for a second, froze too. I live out in the boonsticks, so sometimes my internet just sucks. So hopefully, am I back? I'm back. I don't know how to tell if I'm like in and out of reception or not. So I don't really have a way to know if I'm cutting out unless you guys let me know. And I also have no way to fix it if it does happen. So you're here. Welcome back. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully you guys didn't miss too much. I don't know when I cut out. I'm so sorry. But before I do lose my internet, if that ends up happening, we should probably do the second giveaway. So I need a number between what it was, that's not 7, but it's between 5 and 11 that is not 7. First one on my screen. 9. 9 is the winner. So Heather, if you could pull up number you. Is that right? Was 11 the first one? 9 was the first one. My bad. I'm looking at last year's again. Why do I keep clicking on last year's? I was like, wait a second, that wasn't her day. Why does it keep pulling up last year? Oh, it was 7. Okay, 7 was the number. Hidden Oaks Homesteads video. I'm losing my mind today. I'm sorry, y'all. Number you not. Sorry. Number 7. Hidden Oaks Homestead. We know it's all random because I can't remember anything anyways. So is that the mother? Is who the mother? And we're on the end of the line for the internet, which means, well, I don't even have a line. I just have cell phone internet. I thought it was 9. Yeah, because I accidentally said that the number before was 9. So that one doesn't count because we can't draw the number 9 twice. So, yeah. Oh, 7 was the last one? No. Okay. Whichever. Let's go with 9. The winner, there we go. There's the winner. AAAC 1561 is the winner. Yay! I'm excited. I got here after you started. How does your giveaway work? We just have videos that somebody does every day of the week. A great demo. I won't be using rutabaga, but other veggies. Sweet. I live in Wyoming. The giveaway. We have one person doing a video each day of the month. The weekly giveaways are from the previous weeks, from Monday through Sunday, and we just randomly draw a number. And then so far this week and last week, Heather has been doing the drawings for me. I'll do the random comment generator because my random comment generator will not load. So, and then that's just the prizes. And then so next week will be from today's video through next Sunday's video, and we'll do 2 giveaways. So, that's, kind of the gist of it. You just watch the videos and comment on them, and the winners are chosen from the comments. So AAAC1561, send me an email at fermentedhomestead@gmail.com. You have won one of the t-shirts. So just send me an email and I will reply with instructions on the t-shirts. Book for drawing 1, t-shirt for drawing 2. Yes, exactly. Use organic inulin FOS powder for my SIBO yogurt. I'm not getting any separation. Maybe I need to look up FOS powder. I've heard of it. I bought inulin, so I didn't think about it. I bought it several years ago. So I think there's probably something. Maybe I just need to try a different type of inulin. The videos are awesome. I agree. Why does kimchi get fizzy? Because it is a very active ferment. It's just how it is. It does. It gets really bubbly. And plus it's more of a paste. Like what you put on it is a paste versus a brine. So the air bubbles have more trouble escaping naturally, so they tend to build up inside the jar and push everything up. I think it probably is more active than other ferments, but it's also simply because it doesn't have a way to escape on its own. Videos are amazing. I'm learning so much. Absolutely. Cheyenne asked why her homemade apple cider vinegar is thick like syrup. I've never had apple cider vinegar get thick, but I have had other ferments get thick, and I did research on it because I wanted to make sure that I was not, poisoning myself. And it usually happens when you use older produce, and it is where a different type of bacteria is able to take hold before another one. It's not bad, but usually if you wait longer, it will thin out. It gives the other bacteria a chance to catch up. I can't remember the exact specifics. It was like a year ago that I researched it, but with a standard ferment, it's not a problem. You just wait and it gets less thick. It happened to me once with carrots and once with beets. So the wrong bacteria gets cultured quicker than a different type of bacteria. But I would highly encourage you to Google it because it is actually pretty fascinating information. I just don't remember every detail of it. I've noticed anything with onion and or pepper ferment quick and crazy. That's interesting. I haven't had that experience. For me, it's like anything with like beets. Beets go really quick, and carrots, depending on how you cut them up. If you grate them, they go very quickly and are very prone to what do you call it? Calm yeast. And then carrot sticks, they don't tend to start the fermentation quickly, but it lasts forever, absolutely forever. And it is so active. Oh my gosh, it's intensely active. What is the most surprising ferment you have done? Surprising as it came out in a way other than you'd expected. Tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. I thought I'd love them. I don't love them. I don't like them. They're just so weird. They don't even taste like gross. They're just like, I think it's just that they are such an incredibly unique flavor. It's like hard to put my finger on. Like it's just so bizarre. Uh, yeah, and onions. I really thought I would love fermented onions. Can't stand them. I think they're awful. Nope. I like fermented onions in other things, but I don't like straight fermented onions. They're just boring. They taste like cardboard. How can you know your sourdough starter is good and safe to use? I'm new to it and just started a batch 6 days ago. It'll smell very off-putting. It'll smell putrid. It won't smell sour. Like a sourdough smells like sourdough, like the starter itself. It'll have like a sour, um, I don't know how to say it, but it's a pleasant aroma. If you like the smell of fermented foods, if you like the smell of sourdough, it's a pleasant aroma. If it's bad, number one, um, it will have a thick coat of mold on it, and it'll just smell disgusting. Like you'll just be like, ugh, nasty, sweet, sour smell, sourdough. Yep, exactly. I think cherry tomatoes have a fizz in them. I think they do. I love beet kvass. Me too. Has anyone tried fermented radishes? Yes, it's delicious. I wish it kept the bite, but it tends to remove the bite from the radish. Like it's not going to be as spicy. So smelled like mold, but don't use it. Yep. Sourdough smells good. A little like alcohol. Yeah, but it's going to have a little bit of an alcohol smell to it if it has fermented a little bit longer, like it has turned to what they call hooch, which probably is actually hooch, but it's like the liquid that forms on top. Usually that's the case, and it's fine. Like you have to really try to kill a sourdough starter. I promise. I have tried and failed many times. I've not tried, but I have ignored it for very long periods of time, and it's just fine. Um, fermented big winter radishes like watermelon are awesome. I bet. I have thought about trying fermented turnips. Have you tried to ferment those? I have not, but I bet it's really good. Hooch is the dark colored liquid. Yeah, but is it? It doesn't have to be dark, does it? Because it's just the liquid that forms on top that smells like alcohol. I think it maybe turns black with oxidation. Putting radishes in my Chinese fermented pickles are my favorite. Chinese fermented pickles. Yeah, I love fermented radishes. Can you buy a SCOBY? Yes, you can. Hello, Susan. I buy my SCOBYs on Etsy, or if you have a friend who makes kombucha, you can get one from them. Stir hooch back in the starter means your starter is hungry. Yep, exactly. If I get some hooch that forms on the top, I just kind of slowly pour off the liquid, and then I don't care if I get all of it. I just try and pour off some of it, and then I make it. Have I had some okra and carrots fermenting for about 7 months in my pantry? I got a bit of white scum on the top. I'm a bit scared to try it. 7 months is quite a while to ferment something. It depends on what it is. Is it moldy? Is it furry, fuzzy, nasty? What color is it? You said white, didn't you? White scum. You did. I'm looking up a picture here. It's pretty easy to tell the difference once you know what you're looking for. Commies. It's plugged in. Commies. It looks kind of. Where am I at here? Can you see that? Okay. Like that. See, and it can be kind of like it's like wrinkly. It looks a little bit like chalky, oily kind of, but it's wrinkly. Like whereas mold is like fuzzy and splotchy. Calm yeast is fine if it's a lot, like overwhelming amount of it, it will alter the flavor, but it won't be toxic for you. If it is overwhelmingly growing with mold, I would chuck it because it can spread. If it's a small amount, I don't worry about it. But if it's kind of overgrown, like if it's like a sheet completely covering the top, I would toss it because it can spread the mycotoxins that are created from the mold. But if it's just a small amount, it's not very likely to be damaging unless you have a mold sensitivity. Do you put the potato in the sourdough? I do not. Mix the hooch in the sourdough just smells like yummy. What if it smells like fingernail polish? Is there somebody in here with more experience with sourdough? I can answer that. I wonder if it's building a sort of SCOBY. It could be if it's too close to kombucha. I think it's calm yeast. Yeah, then I wouldn't worry about it. If it's a lot, it will alter the flavor. It'll become bitter, but it won't be. Calm yeast is not harmful. It's just in overwhelming amounts, it tastes gross. If it smells like fingernail polish, that's not good. Okay. Yeah, I'm just getting into sourdough, so I'm not the one to ask like super detailed safety questions on it. I like the surface of cantaloupe looks. Yeah, it does. Calm yeast looks like a thin layer of almost dehydrated cottage cheese almost. I've never seen dehydrated cottage cheese, so I don't know. Sometimes sourdough can smell like acetone when it's really hoochy. That's good to know, Heather. Thank you. I'd say it needs to be thrown out if it's that strong smell so intense. Well, it depends though, because like if it smells putrid, then yes, it should be tossed. Like if it smells rancid, putrid, like just gross. There's a difference between a strong smell and a bad smell. Like it can be a strong smell, like if you've ignored it, like if it's just bad, there are different levels of it. Just because it's a strong smell doesn't mean it's a bad smell. Smelling like fingernail polish means it's hungry. There you go. Hoochie means it's been hungry too long. You get the hoochie, baby. You'll know if it's bad. Trust me. See, exactly. An acetone sourdough I would feed and see how she goes. There you go. Worst case, you waste a few tablespoons of flour. Big deal. Right. Okay. So I think the consensus is that the acetone smell does not mean it's bad. It just means it's hungry and need to feed it more often. What have you fermented that you loved but did not think it would be that good? Okra. Okra. I did not know how I would feel about fermented okra, and it is one of my absolute favorites. Absolutely. I have ate an entire jar in one sitting. I just sit there and munch on it. So freaking good. Oh my gosh. I never even tried okra until I moved to Missouri because everybody told me that it would be gross and this weird texture and like the sliminess, and all that stuff. I'm a texture person. I don't like slimy stuff. So like I didn't try it. And then I finally did and I was like, what have I been missing my life? Oh my gosh. I would love to try fermented okra. You need to. You need fermented okra in your life. Add a little bit of chili to it, like red pepper flakes. So good. Or dill. It's really good with like some dill and some garlic. It just, so good. I'm growing okra for the first time this year. I'm growing okra for the second time this year. Hopefully the deer don't get it this time. And hopefully I get it before they all go nasty and woody. I think I harvested like 3 edible pods this last year and everything else just went to crap. And the deer. As far as I've heard, that only real signs of a starter is bad as mold, pink streaks, or fuzzy spots. I think that's fair, Becca. Spicy fermented okra is bomb. Exactly. Is okra slimy when fermented? No more slimy than it is raw. As long as you need to just like ferment it like whole. You need the small pods and you stick them in the jar. You cut off as much of the stem as you can while not opening it up. Because if you cut it into little little quarters or whatever, then yes, it will be slimy. But if you ferment them whole, they will not be slimy. How long did you ferment the okra? Oh, long time. Like a month. I like things that are very, very sour, very, very fermented. So that's what I did. Is there a difference between 1990s kombucha? How is it made now? Not that I'm aware of. I don't know. Maybe. Love all the forms of okra, even the slimy. I don't think I've ever had anything that would be like slimy okra. Like it's got a little bit of a like it'll coat your mouth, but nothing gross. What's your favorite variety of okra to ferment? I have no idea. Has anyone used SCOBY in a recipe? I have a gallon jar full of extra ones. I'll probably end up putting it in my garden or compost. The thought of eating it is difficult to get over, but I might try it. I haven't, but I've heard you can make like soap with it. You can make like dehydrated SCOBY jerky with it. There's all sorts of different stuff that you can use. Growing mushrooms, can they be fermented? They can. Sage and Stone Homestead did a video on it. I thought fermented kohlrabi would be so awesome. It was nasty. Really? I'm surprised. We really like the Okinawa pink okra. Good to know for when the okra is going is okra. When okra is going nuts in the garden, right? Put it in a jar. It's delicious. Just make sure you harvest it young. Because otherwise it won't fit in the jar. Or you could even upgrade to a quart jar if you want, if it goes a little bit too far. Okra and salt or whey fermentation. I like okra and salt or whey fermentation. It pickles over time. The fermentation gives it a pickly flavor. Notification set. Never got notified. I'm sorry. I love kohlrabi. Never tried it fermented. Neither have I. I'm growing mushrooms. I read that one. Boiled okra is always slimy. I haven't tried boiled. I just like eating it out of the garden. It's delicious. It tastes like a really good, like the best green bean you ever had. You just say SCOBY jerky? I sure did. Obviously, it's not going to be an active ferment, but it doesn't really matter because most of the bacteria in kombucha dies when you drink it anyways. So it's mostly the secondary benefits that are so good about kombucha, not so much the bacteria. It's a lot of other things. In fact, kombucha has one of the lowest bacteria counts of any fermented food. It's mostly about the yeast and the acids. So what can I use for ketchup? Ferment. All of my ferments never keep liquid for long. You are going to have to watch today's Fermented February video by Sage and Stone Homestead. She made a delicious one. Dehydrated powdered jerky or scobies make a great popcorn topping. Interesting. Huh. What is your favorite flavors for water kefir? None. I don't like water kefir. We need opinions from other people. We used to do dehydrated apples, and that was good. But I just have a tendency to over ferment stuff, so it just tastes bland, and I don't like it. And ketchup is good and thick too. There you go. Salt or whey ferment for the okra. I don't add whey to anything. I don't like to add starter cultures to anything that doesn't require it. Like you have to add a starter culture for milk kefir, water kefir, kombucha, jun, stuff like that. Like you have to add the starter culture to it because that is the ferment. But like I prefer wild fermentation whenever possible. I don't like adding starters when I don't have to. She used liquid from a ferment, but I don't have any. Then you'd be pretty hard pressed to make a fermented ketchup without a starter fermentation. Try fermenting something and then use the brine from that. Like nutritional yeast. Interesting. I've made my first batch of sauerkraut and it's been working for 2 weeks and the liquid has dropped a bit. I watched a video on that recently. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I always tell people, and I still do, that you should add a little bit of brine to it and just make sure it stays submerged. But I did watch a video recently. It was by I want to say Cultured Food Life, where she suggested not adding anything to it and just leaving it be in the fridge. And she said that adding the salt brine to it can throw off the bacterial profile, which is true. Not necessarily bad though. So up to you. You know, you're not going to die. A little lower than I'd like. Oh, I never would have thought to make my own nutritional yeast actually from scobies, right? Try kimchi cucumber kimchi. Do it. It is one of my favorites. It's so good. Lost my post. I'm on day 10 of my first ferments. They're amazing. I'm making 2 jars of sauerkraut, one with caraway seeds and garlic, and one plain. When should I start to taste if it's done? It depends. Do you like things that are very sour? Are you already a connoisseur of fermented foods or not? I always encourage people to wait at least 3 weeks because that's kind of the peak time to consume a ferment. That is when all of the obviously it depends on the ingredients that you started with, the temperature that you're fermenting with, but in general, the 3-week point is usually what I say. That's just kind of when all of the different acids have formed. The bacteria has gone through all those stages of fermentation. It hasn't gone through all of them, but it has at least had a little bit of time in the 3rd stage of fermentation. And you can keep going after that, which is what I do to continue to develop the acidic flavor to it. But I encourage people to let it go for at least 3 weeks. Fermented pico de gallo from last year's Fermented February is delicious. This is so good. I love fermented pico. Late to the game, but happy to be here. My daughter had a swimmie. Did she win? Stop it, Robin. Seriously, I hate yawning on air. Please stop. Have you ever used smoked salt to ferment vegetables? I have not. Fermented pico, or that one. Think you can make a fermentation starter. I saw Rain Country has one, so maybe she might have a video with a recipe for it. That is true. She has several videos on that. A ginger bug sounds potentially delicious for starter for that ketchup. Ginger bug does sound really good for something like that. Anything that has active live cultures in it will work. You could even use apple cider vinegar if you wanted. I'll go check out her channel to see if I let me rephrase that. Raw apple cider vinegar. Not like the gallon jugs that you just get, from Walmart, but like actual live apple cider vinegar. I made the fermented Brussels sprouts from last year. They were delicious. I'm on day 2 of fermented cherry tomatoes from this year. I can't wait to try them. Awesome. My hubs thought that ketchup looked awesome. It does look really good. Ginger pineapple kombucha. Yes, I think that would be delicious. I'm new to fermenting, but I'm like you. I think the longer the better. Here in Texas is dry, so I have to deal with the evaporation issue. Most definitely. I wonder how a cherry cider vinegar would be. I bet it would be really good. Check out Rain Country Homestead. She is like the guru on vinegars. I always tell people anytime they ask about vinegars, because it's definitely not my strong suit, but she has a ton of homemade vinegars, recipes, videos, all sorts of things. She is like the queen of vinegar. Like, check out Rain Country Homestead. She is the one to talk to about that. I think being able to make your own fermented condiments, all the things, is absolutely awesome. I agree. Yes, today's Fermented February video. This live is sketching me all over the place. Why is it sketching you? Is it because of my reception, or is it a weird conversation? I don't see it. My scrap apple cider vinegar has a SCOBY in it, and it freaked me out when I spotted it. It's supposed to. It is supposed to form a SCOBY. Don't worry. Don't stress. Nothing wrong with it. I did the same thing, and I threw away the SCOBY, and people were mad at me. How often should I be feeding my SCOBY hotel? I'm no expert in that. I don't usually have the SCOBY hotel. I usually end up, although I did just make one. So I'm not an expert, though I did just make one. And I've been told about every 6 months you change out the liquid in a SCOBY hotel. Though I'm sure there are many different numbers. I made strawberry tops vinegar and it turned out great. Yummy. I have made apple cider vinegar, pear ginger vinegar, and my favorite is beet vinegar. I bet I would like that one. You can make a really tasty vinaigrette with that. That would be yummy. 6 months. There you go. I think that yawn is going to just about wrap things up for us. I think we are getting to the end of our live. So thank you guys all for joining. I will do my best to go and hunt down those comments tomorrow and post on there if they have not already contacted me. But congrats to all the winners. Best of luck to all the future winners and all those who are commenting. I appreciate all of your guys' support. It is fantastic to see everybody just supporting and commenting and, you know, giving feedback and just getting so excited about fermentation. That's what I like doing, all this, the collaborations and all those sorts of things. So hope you guys have an amazing evening. I have a video coming out tomorrow, and Thursday and Saturday. That is the plan, at least. So peace out, Tower Crow.